May 4th, 1945. The Bavarian Alps. The war was days from ending. A jeep carrying soldiers from the U.S. 101st Airborne Division, the Screaming Eagles, crawled up a narrow mountain road. The air was thin. The view was breathtaking. Snow-capped peaks stretched endlessly into the distance. But the soldiers weren't looking at the mountains. They were staring at a tunnel carved directly into the rock. A massive bronze door stood open. They stepped inside. The air was cold, damp. At the end of the tunnel, they froze. An elevator. Not a military one, a palace elevator. Polished brass walls gleaming like gold. Green leather seats, mirrors lining the walls. Dirty, exhausted American paratroopers stepped inside. The doors closed. They rose 400 feet through the heart of the mountain. When the doors opened, they stepped into Adolf Hitler's private world. They had reached the Eagle's Nest, Steinhaus, Hitler's mountaintop retreat, the place where he entertained kings, generals, and foreign dignitaries. The soldiers walked slowly through the room. They saw the massive stone fireplace, a gift from Mussolini, the expensive carpets, the panoramic window. The view Hitler claimed gave him the power of a god. One American sergeant sat down in Hitler's favorite chair. He kicked his muddy boots up onto the table, lit a cigarette, and smiled. "Boys," he said, "I think we just won the war." But the Eagle's Nest was only the appetizer. Down below, in Hitler's main residence, the Berghof, another group of American soldiers made an even bigger discovery. They found the cellar, and inside it, 10,000 bottles. Wine, champagne, cognac, scotch, the most expensive alcohol in Europe. Stolen from France, from Italy, from the finest vineyards in the world. Hitler didn't drink alcohol. He kept it for his guests, and now his guests had arrived. This is the true story of how American soldiers drank Hitler's champagne, stole his silverware, slept in his bed, and delivered the ultimate insult to the Nazi regime. By May 1945, rumors were everywhere. Hitler was in Berlin, but many believed he had a secret Alpine fortress, the Alpine Redoubt. Every Allied unit wanted to be the one to capture it. Whoever took Hitler's home took the symbol of the Third Reich. Three forces were racing for the prize: the U.S. 3rd Infantry Division, the Rock of the Marne, the 101st Airborne Division, and the French 2nd Armored Division. They weren't fighting Germans anymore. They were fighting traffic. The mountain roads were clogged with tanks, trucks, and jeeps. Everyone wanted to be first. One American general barked an order: "Get up that mountain. I don't care how you do it. Just beat the French." It was a free-for-all. The German guards had fled. The SS had burned parts of the house before retreating. But the shell of Hitler's home still stood. When the first Americans arrived, they didn't conduct a tactical sweep. They ran, straight for the front door. Inside, the great hall was chaos. The massive picture window was shattered. Snow blew inside. But the furniture remained. The grand piano, the tapestries, the globe. A soldier walked up to Hitler's portrait above the fireplace. He pulled out his knife and cut Hitler's face out of the painting. "I'm taking this home to my mom," he said. More soldiers poured in. Discipline collapsed. This wasn't looting. It was fury. They ripped swastikas off the walls, smashed vases, stabbed leather sofas with bayonets. Not for money, for revenge. They had lost friends. They had seen the camps. They wanted to destroy everything Hitler touched. Then someone found the stairs. Down into the basement. Heavy doors were kicked open, and the mood changed instantly. From rage to celebration. Floor-to-ceiling shelves, row after row of bottles. Champagne from the 1920s, rare Napoleon brandy, a fortune in liquid form. The word spread like wildfire. They found the booze! Soldiers ran for containers, canteens, jerry cans, helmets, anything that could hold liquid. They smashed bottlenecks against the walls, drank straight from the glass. Champagne foamed onto the floor. Red wine stained Nazi carpets. One paratrooper later said, "We drank wine that cost $100 a bottle like it was water. I washed my socks in it because I could." While some drank, others hunted for souvenirs. The dining room cupboards were full of silver, plates, forks, knives, each stamped with Adolf Hitler's initials and the Nazi eagle. Soldiers shoved handfuls of silverware into their pockets, backpacks filled fast. One man found a silver tea set given to Hitler on his 50th birthday. He didn't care about history. He flattened it with his boot so it would fit in his bag. They found Hitler's personal stationery. Soldiers sat at his desk and wrote letters home. "Dear Mom," one wrote, "I'm writing this from Hitler's desk. We beat the bastard." The dictator who dreamed of ruling the world now supplied writing paper to farm boys from Kansas. While the Berghof turned into a party, the 101st Airborne returned to the summit. The eagle's nest was untouched, elegant, silent. They rode the golden elevator again. Inside, exhausted paratroopers collapsed onto rugs and sofas. They opened the liquor cabinet, Hitler's private cognac. They poured drinks. "To the Führer," they joked. "Thanks for the hospitality." They found tablecloths embroidered with swastikas. They cut them into pieces. Everyone wanted a fragment to take home. The most personal invasion came in the bedrooms. Eva Braun's room, Hitler's room. Soldiers opened wardrobes, held up silk nightgowns and laughed, took lingerie as gifts for wives back home. In Hitler's bedroom, a soldier lay down on the bed, bounced once. "Bit hard," he said, "but it'll do." He took a nap. When he woke, he carved into the headboard, "Kilroy was here." It was childish, petty, and powerful. The monster was gone, and he was human after all. Then, the French arrived.
Furious, they stormed the cellar. The Americans had taken the top layer. The French dug deeper. They found the real treasures. Vintage Bordeaux from 1900. Wine stolen from Paris. "This is ours," they shouted. For hours, the mountain became a drunken celebration. Americans, Frenchmen, laughing, shooting into the air, celebrating the end of the nightmare. The next morning, officers tried to restore order. It was hopeless. Broken glass everywhere, furniture smashed, floors sticky with wine. Yes, the rumors are true. Some soldiers urinated in the fireplace, marked their territory. When senior commanders arrived, they didn't punish the men. Eisenhower visited days later. He saw the destruction. He didn't get angry. Hitler deserved it. Nearby, in another tunnel, American troops found Hermann Göring's art collection, thousands of paintings, gold, statues. The monuments men secured most of it, but some small items vanished into GI pockets. Years later, strange artifacts appeared in American pawn shops. My grandfather brought this back from Hitler's house, and it was true. The looting of the eagle's nest wasn't theft, it was release. 5 years of hatred poured into one final act of humiliation. Today, the eagle's nest is a restaurant. Tourists admire the view, but the Berghof is gone, blown up in 1952 to prevent Nazi worship. Still, if you dig into the soil around the ruins, you can find broken glass, fragments of wine bottles, remnants of the greatest party in history, the day American soldiers drank the devil's wine and laughed in his face.